Hi, everyone. This is Inside the TMC family, and I'm Faith Howard Mooney, VP of Member Engagement at the Mortgage Collaborative. With me today, I have this fun lady that we got to spend some time together at our conference in San Diego, Robin Clayton, who is the Director of Digital Lending and Marketing at PRMG. Hi, Robin. Thanks for doing this with me.
Hey, thanks, Faith. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, you want to share just a little bit about your role at PRMG and about PRMG themselves?
Yeah, for sure. So, what my role there is to innovate marketing technology, solve a lot of problems. PRMG has been around for, oh gosh, over 20 years now. We're in 49 states, and they're really passionate about helping first-time home buyers. And we want to see if we can help our originators to be better. They'll also serve our community. So it's a really fun job. It's super duper hard, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So really proud to work there. It is my forever home. So I'm excited to meet with you, Faith. I think this is going to be great.
It is going to be fun, as I think probably all conversations with you are. And love it that you're just willing to dig into any challenge. That is something that I admire in people in our industry. So let's get started. Share with me what your first job ever was.
Oh boy. So I did a lot of things, but I'll say one of my first jobs was a summer job. My father is actually an entrepreneur based in Southern California. So my job was at his organization, and it was actually to build training curriculum.
Oh,
And I was
cool.
coding emails, building documents, and like publishing software. And I even got the opportunity to travel internationally to train the teams in the company. And it was super amazing experience. It actually made me really passionate about training, serving others, and building really good companies.
What a great way to learn. That's an awesome first job to have.
Yeah, I skipped the
Sometimes,
dog walking and the paper route.
yep, exactly. How did you end up finding your way into mortgage?
So, right out of school, I ended up at a temp agency, and it just so happened there was the largest company in the mortgage company in the United States. Their headquarters, servicing, correspondent lending was all in my backyard, and that company was called Countrywide. So I had
Oh,
no idea. They were like, "Hey, can you type? Can you read something without falling out of your chair? Cool. Go go work at this company called Countrywide."
yeah, it's kind of interesting that it seems like people don't plan on being in mortgage, but somehow, during certain times, they just kind of naturally get directed back into those seats. And I also think it's funny that, you started your first job with a training company, and we're accustomed to that. And then you probably got thrown into mortgage at a time where literally your training is on the job and you don't really have a training program. So I think that's interesting as well. But thinking back to then, what's like the one thing that you wish that you would have known that now seems so clear to you that you would love to share with other people?
There's so much. I really had to think about this question, and one thing that I've learned more recently than I'd like to admit was hoarding knowledge. When I was really young in my career, I had this impression that if I have data or information that nobody else has, then I'll be more valuable. And then I realized, well, it's a double edged sword because it also means you'll never move up. And you're too valuable here that you can never expand. And now I know if you invest in others on your team, if you train them, if you make them smarter and more knowledgeable, and you just share, then you can scale and replicate yourself. And then you can evolve to learn more, do cooler stuff. You don't have to be boxed in and do the same thing over and over again because now there's other people that can do that. And then you can move up. And once I kind of let go, and realized that by sharing and empowering others, it would actually benefit myself. That was sort of a sea change. And now I can't get stuff out of my head fast enough. I'm like, let's go.
That is great words of wisdom to share with people, whether they're on your team or new managers or whatever the situation is. It's like, I always say, hire people that are smarter than you are and train them in everything that you've got in your headspace. And you've got a fabulous, fabulous team going there. So I think that is great words of wisdom for everybody that is listening. If you weren't in mortgage, what do you think you would be doing right now?
So it was never the plan, just like you mentioned, right?
It never
so
is.
yeah, so I actually was an environmental science minor, and I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a geologist. I actually toured the EPA in Boston, and it just so happened the way the politics were happening at the time, there was a hiring freeze at the EPA, and it was like, oh crap, what am I going to do? So I was like, well, I also love art. So I wanted to be a graphic designer. I had a ton of education in art, but I didn't have a lot of technical software skills. So I went around to marketing agencies and design firms that were in Los Angeles, which is a hyper competitive field. And they didn't want to hire me because I didn't know Adobe Flash, which is so ironic because Flash is dead. So, how'd that work out? So I was kind of scrambling, it's like sort of the two passions that I loved. I couldn't find work. So, I had family members who said, hey, just try temping just so you can, pay your bills and function in society. And that's how I ended up, was placed in little, offices around and ended up at Countrywide. And I did actually go into training for about a decade. And kind of got burnt out on that. And then now it's like, oh, wait, marketing technology, it's like I get to do the technical problem solving, scientific analytical stuff that sort of feeds me there, but also the creative designer, big picture stuff. So I just feel so incredibly blessed. I feel like I finally found my dream job in a super strange way. But yeah, it is funny when you look at my education and my interests. There's no way in a million years you would have picked mortgage.
Yeah, but what a great way to use your skills and blend them into a job that obviously works so well for you. That is incredible. And you've got like a broad range because I mean it's like a scientist and an artist kind of don't normally, you wouldn't on the surface look at them as kind of going together. But what a great way to blend those into something so fabulous. So you brought up something that is a passion of mine. I had a sister who's a art history major. I love artists. So I would love to know from you, because you've had your hand in art, your favorite artist and why.
Oh my gosh, what a fabulous question. Oh, I mean, it really depends what stage of my life I've been in.
Good answer.
When I was an adolescent, I really resonated with Frida Kahlo, sort of that Mexican artist. Everyone knows the unibrow, and just how passionate and intense that she was. There's a lot of, obviously musical artists. I play a lot of different musical instruments, and was, everyone from, I love Mendelssohn,
Wow.
and Chopin and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just, I've never really been super into contemporary art.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Actually, the art that I'm really into now is going to sound super weird. But I went to high school with somebody whose parents were from Ukraine. And they introduced me to Pisanki, and I'm sure I'm not saying that right. And it's the art of dipping blown eggs into dye, and then you use hot wax to do designs, and then you put them in different colors, and you burn them off, and you make these really intricate designs. So I got super into it. It's a hobby that really humbles you because eggs break. So you make something, you spend all this time, and it's like, it broke in a million pieces. But it's just something that I really enjoy doing, and a way to just sort of do something very intricate and very beautiful. And it really takes up a lot of brain space, so it kind of de-stresses me. Like I forget about things because I'm so focused on this. So yeah, I know that answer was all over the place, but I love all kinds of stuff.
I love that. And now I'm going to have to look into that type of art because I have
I
never
think
heard
I'm
of
going to
that
show
before.
you. I
Yes,
might have some in
do.
this room. I'm going to think, let me see if I can find some for you. Now watch me like break them all.
Oh no, don't do that. I would feel so bad.
They'll come up on the camera. So here's one.
Oh
Ones that I
my
did.
gosh, how beautiful is
This one's a
that?
little faded because it was in the sun, but you know, like different designs and all
Oh
that.
my
So
gosh, those are
yeah. And
gorgeous.
this
You're
one,
so
like
talented.
this one has like poppies on it.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
yeah.
Well, I am so glad that I asked you that question because now we all have learned something new and been able to see something super beautiful. And it gives us further insight into the beautiful person that you are and all things that you have going on in your life. So, as always, it's delightful to talk with you. I hope that we get to do that more when we are together. And thank you for doing this for me today.
Absolutely, Faith. You're a pleasure.